I'm going to just be ribbing it out and possibly maybe answering some questions if anybody comes on here. Or I'm going to talk about something else. I don't know. Anyway, it looks funny. Okay. So as you can see, when you make mistakes, this is why you want to make sure that you are not going through the strands of the yarn. This is a variegated yarn, and I forget what this is called, but it doesn't have strands. It's like all one strand. Hello, welcome. Welcome to my house. So, so this is easier to pull out, but it's fuzzy, so sometimes the fuzz fibers get stuck together. So I'm just here working on this, taking apart this project, and it's okay. I was properly measured by my daughter, who is a seamstress, and it was not going to come out right. It was going to look weird. I was going to have vertical and then horizontal lines, and it wasn't going to hang right. So, and as a side note, my daughter is making me a custom dress for school. Actually, it's going to be, oh, hello, thank you, thumbs up. It's going to be a like a uniform for me. It's going to be maybe 2 patterns, but probably just 1, maybe 2, but just 5 total. And I'm going to use that as my, I'm going to wear 1 each day of the week just to make, thank you, just to make life easier for me, because as a very tired person, I do not have time to figure out what I'm going to wear for school, and frankly, I don't particularly care. So here's the beautiful yarn that I'm pulling apart, and then I'm going to roll it up into a ball, and then I'm going to follow a pattern for the oversized chunky sweater, which I keep saying I'm going to do a pattern review on, but I have to learn how to do a little bit more. I am a teacher. Thank you for asking me. America is number 1. Oh, thank you. I will be crocheting a sweater, and some people in, I don't know what countries, will use knitting and crocheting interchangeably, which is perfectly fine. I don't care. But so this is crochet, which is, I'm going to use 1 hook and put it together, and it's going to be a sweater when I'm all done. And I wish I knew how to knit, but I do not have the patience to learn knitting because I'm so incredibly fast at crocheting that I get too impatient because it's so slow, like anything that you're learning. Usually it's very slow, and then you pick up. So yeah, so I'm a substitute teacher here in the greater Phoenix area. And I shouldn't say greater because it's right here in downtown Phoenix. Oh, yeah, crocheting's fantastic. It keeps your hands nimble as long as you don't scrunch them up too much. And it is a nice way to make gifts that are very thoughtful for, to give to somebody, because they cannot be made on a machine. And if you can find something that's crocheted and it's being sold in a store, just know that some poor little enslaved person in China probably made it sitting there making 10 cents an hour. But that's why you don't see crochet stuff in stores. That's why you see knit, because it has to be handmade. Anyway, and this yarn is not terribly exciting to my cats, so that's cool because they are not popping over here. Usually when they hear it moving, they come to attack. So anyway, please excuse my eye. I have an eczema breakout on my eyelid, and I think on the inside, or right on the, God, oh, it's so itchy. Your eyelids are like one of the thinnest skins on your, am I saying that right? Your facial skin is very, very thin, and then your eyelid is thinner. And you should be very careful putting anything on it. So I've only been putting a little bit of coconut oil on it, because coconut oil is good for everything. Or so you think. Or so it's said. So anyway, I don't don't feel particularly good right now, so I am sorry. I didn't prepare anything to work on today like I usually do. I think I was supposed to finish a couple things for tonight. Most of my live streams continue with me working on something and then finishing it, or finishing something from the day before and then starting something that I'm going to finish on the next stream. So they kind of flow together. But I don't have enough views or followers for anyone to have figured that out, so I can cheat a little bit and not do what I was supposed to do because no one's going to notice. So thank you again for being here. And if you like this kind of content, listening to someone talk about crocheting or substitute teaching or getting older, as you can see from my lovely white hair, put in the comments if you think I should let it go gray. It's coming in darker again. I don't know why. But this is leftover color from a couple months ago. I'm just sort of leaving it for the summertime. And I don't work in the summer because it's too hot. It's too hot here in Phoenix. And there is not... you look like you smoke a little weed. I do not smoke any weed because... Oh, I just came across your stream. How are you? I am fine. I am answering the question of I look like I smoke a little weed. I don't smoke anything because I have asthma. And I don't smoke or drink any alcohol. I take a lot of prescription medications for my numerous medical problems. So I try not to do anything because I don't want to accidentally, die. Oh my gosh, I do want to hear a funny story, but please make sure that it is appropriate for my channel, which is viewed by some children. So, yeah. But yes, I would like to hear a funny story. It's about smoking a little weed? It's funny. It should be. Okay, good. All right. I will wait for you to do it. Thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every person who stops in. My ultimate goal is to... try and get monetized here on YouTube and then just make a little bit of extra money so that I can supplement my Social Security, which I'll start in January. It's early retirement because I'm a widow, so I can retire at age 60. That's a whole story. So I appreciate everyone being here. Oh, yeah, I heard it does really help epilepsy. Yes. Well, plus, I'm sorry. I have a lot of followers of people I work with, and I know that marijuana is legal, but it still has a bit of a stigma, and I do have to be careful about talking about anything like that because of work. So one time I went to the hospital for having pneumonia, and a couple woke up while I was there, and we just played the Rick Roll video. Wait, is it from Rick and Morty? Oh, yeah, I did. It is, why? Because I am so thankful that even though someone said I was nonchalant about how I said I have numerous health problems. And, the Rick Astley that's funny. The Rick Astley song, that the original artist just recorded like a 20-year or 30-year, who knows, video. It's pretty funny. So now I'm just thankful that the health problems that I have are not, they could be worse. Everything could be worse. So I am underemployed, which is a bummer because I can barely work as a substitute, which is very difficult, but that's more emotional because students usually are not very, yes, please tell me something else even better, are not very kind necessarily to substitutes. And well, it depends on the grade. For 5th grade and lower, lovely little children, happy with life. Middle school, nightmare. And we all went through it. Oh, that's lovely that you are still in contact with that person. Good for you. Good for you. That's a fantastic story that you will have your whole life. And see, when people think that their presence in the world is not important, it was important. You came out of that coma because you were there. Why else would it have happened? So, yeah, like I have this, thank you. I am nice. Thank you. Thank you for subbing for me. I appreciate it. Yeah, so, I was upset because I have this eczema on my eye, and I already have like very, very sensitive, not a disease or anything, but just this very sensitive skin. So I don't really wear any makeup. I can't put anything on my eyes or else they get infected really easily. Oh yeah, thank you. You know what? It is, I should be a spokesperson for this shampoo. You should use a non-sulfate shampoo. And it has to say non-sulfate on it. And that's for everybody, for every kind of type of hair. And, oh, how nice. Okay, yeah, teaching is not as, I don't know, nice as it used to be. It's a lot harder. So, yeah, wait, I was saying something else. Oh, so anyway, you have to, when you wash your hair, we were taught that you have to go for the squeak. No, don't do that. So my hair, I use the non-sulfate, which is like Dawn detergent. That's what like shampoo. It's very harsh. And then I condition it a lot. And that's why I'm struggling because I have to color it. And because my hair is white. Oh, okay. Oh, it's about time for you. Okay. I'm going to be live again tomorrow, probably around this time. No, probably earlier. I was waiting for my daughter to come and measure me. My daughter's a seamstress. So tomorrow I'll probably be up around 6:30. So, okay, good night. Thanks for being here. Not all of you. Don't all of you leave. Just the one girl or person. Scenario. I'm going to say that's a girl. Anyway, and because it's white, this is one of the exciting things you get to find out as you get older. It doesn't hold the color as long. And because I'm not supposed to sit for more than 15 minutes or else I get back pain. And I am she, they. Oh, okay. So I'm going to write that down. So because I probably will forget. Sen. I am she. Okay. If I forget, you could just kindly remind me. I never mean to be rude or disrespectful to anybody. I just genuinely, All right, I'm gonna go back to my hair. Anyway, so it's if you get your hair colored professionally, you have to sit in a chair for a very long time. Plus, it's expensive, and then it makes your hair like straw. So I'm gonna grow it out, and I'm see you tomorrow. So incredibly lucky that at my age I don't have a bald spot, like a lot of post-menopausal women, and that it's still naturally curly. And it will curl even when it's white, because I've had it grown out in the white during COVID. Anyway, thank you for noticing my hair. So these are my health problems. This is why I really seriously would like to just stay home and work from home, just part-time. All right, so I have ADHD, like anyone, which unfortunately, it gets worse as you get older. So when I have to interact with a lot of people, it takes me, which is teaching, when I come home, it takes a really long time for me to be able to settle down, to fall asleep, so I'm not awake the whole night in my dreams, in my sleep. I am thinking about going gray. It's mostly white though. And then this is leftover color. I haven't colored it for a couple months. The last time it was mostly white and gray, I had my glasses on and I looked up and I swear to God, I thought I saw my mother, who I loved and hated at the same time. And it like freaked me out and I immediately colored my hair. I wasn't ready. That was last year. So I'm probably just going to let it just grow out because the color doesn't stay in it, and I do not want to go through the pain of sitting in the chair for that long to get it colored. And I am, on a budget. Like everybody's on a budget, but I'm really I'm very frugal from having to live on a cash only basis for a long time. So I'm a widow, and tonight is not the night unless someone puts in the comment that they want me to talk about it. But my husband died from brain cancer, so that was in 1999 he was diagnosed, and he passed away in 2007, and that was a medical financial disaster that I only recovered from in like 2019 financially. So that one advantage of being poor is that you learn to just live on cash only. And I just recently have some credit cards now that I am happy to say that I am able to keep it at zero balance, except for one, because I had to get some dental work done. That's another thing that they don't tell you about, and I think the government should send us a letter. I think I complain about this in every stream. That your teeth start to shift when you get older. So see how we have this split right here? Like you can't see it. This did not used to be this prominent. And then even your teeth when they're next to each other. Like I noticed in the last year, I'm brushing my teeth and I floss and then I look and there's still stuff. And now I have a water pick, and it's but that just happens as you get older. Your teeth shift, and you have to be careful because sometimes I have a tooth that cracked that had a filling in it, so I had to get a crown put on. Not a root canal, thank God for that, but it's still expensive. Anyway, so that's that. So yeah, so I see people have left, so I won't go into the detail about my. All right, well I have the ADHD. I have congestive heart failure. It's not that bad right now, but that means that I can't do any kind of exertion for more than, say, 20 minutes. Like literally, if I was walking down the street and someone was like, I'll give you a 30-second lead if you could run away, I wouldn't even bother because I just can't do it. That's the way it is. Can't do it. Have no heart strength. I have spondylolisthesis, which is something with my lower vertebra and my hip, and that was aggravated because I got hit by a car. Yes, I got hit by a car riding my bicycle to school. Broke my arm, broke my shoulder, my elbow, couldn't crochet for a couple years. So the shoulder will never be completely well. That I knew from the orthopedic surgeon. I don't know if anyone else has shoulder problems, but shoulder and because I broke it way up here, and it hurts most of the time. Like right now it doesn't hurt, but if I come up here it hurts, and it clicks and does weird stuff. And then I have a gut disorder. I have fibromyalgia. And if you don't know what that is, it's chronic deep tissue pain. Here's a ball I'm working on. Look how gorgeous that is. And I have arthritis in my hands, which is a bummer. And so, yeah, so that is, that's why I'm trying to do this, because I cannot crochet enough products. I have had an adventure in life. I know, right? All kinds of crazy stuff. Plus, I'm not saying this to be conceited. I do look significantly younger than my actual age. And it's been like that my whole life. So it's been a very interesting experience, never fitting in with like the people I'm around, because people would always be like, shouldn't you be with your mother? Funny. Not anymore. I'm too old for that. But well, life is an adventure, right? And I like to think that until you know true, genuine despair and sadness and just, and plus I have depression. I have major, well, it's not major depression. It's just, I can't even pronounce it. It's when you're depressed for more than 2 months. So I've been depressed for about 45 years. And anxiety. I'm laughing. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, and some people live a charmed life and everything's always good, and that's fantastic. But until you have like a really rock bottom, you do not appreciate when things are good. And I was not properly medicated for my depression and my anxiety until after my husband died, and I was 43. And I remember when I first, because I had tried different antidepressants and a lot of they didn't work for me until after he passed away. And I remember one day sitting and I was like, "What is this weird feeling? I feel kind of weird." And I was like, "Oh, I'm happy." What? I had not been happy for like most of my life. I used to think the absence of anxiety was the same as happiness, and it's not. So for those of you who suffer from anxiety, it's tough. It's tough. We have it rough because everything all at once, or you just have to, find a way to cope with it. That is not going to get you into problems like overindulging in alcohol or drugs. So the way I deal with my anxiety, and my kids know this, is that I can't think about my kids too much. They're adults. Uh, One's married. Excuse me. One is a lawyer. She's married. She has her own private practice. She's very successful. She's married to a lawyer. And then my middle daughter is successful in she works in financial institution, and my youngest daughter's a seamstress, and they're 28. Keep getting older. They're 28, 30, and 36. I can't think about them too much, or the anxiety just grips me. Because if I just think about them just doing stuff, then I'm like, oh my God. So I just kind of, and it's kind of a bummer because I would like to be able to, think about things or go back into my memory and think about specifics when we were, when the kids were little, or to think about things with my husband, but I can't because most of our marriage, we were married for 18 years. Most of our marriage, my husband was disabled. He had a pretty big brain tumor. It was 2 inches. Your brain is not that big. Your head's big. Your brain is not that big. And he had a lot of a pretty significant part of his brain removed. And then, that definitely affects you. So it's hard for me to think back to memories of him because then it kind of aggravates my medical PTSD. I have to say that right. God, my nose is so red. Sorry, I'm having some skin problems today. Last few days. So anyway, yeah. So that's excuse me. So that was a long way of saying please like and subscribe so I don't have to leave my house. It's just so exhausting for me to work even as a substitute and barely any work for a substitute. Substitutes don't have to, do lesson plans or have parent-teacher conferences or, go to the copier and make copies and do all that kind of stuff, unless you're doing it long term. And even, my day is 8 hours long and an hour and a half of that is lunch and a break. So it's pretty easy, and because of COVID, the pay rate for substitutes increased dramatically. So I'm able to live off of that. But I would like to take my little bit of Social Security, makes a little supplement. Look how gorgeous it is. I just put it on my thumb while making the ball. And yeah. If you're making a ball of yarn, you could stick this on something else to wrap around. I just learned to do it on my thumb. And you need to make it so it's a little bit sloppy. If you do it too neat, then it'll just fall apart. And I used to make mine extremely neat, like this, putting the strands right next to each other. Can't do that. So, anyway. Okay, so is there any more? Oh, that poor Tyler. I meant to keep talking about the conductor and password back and there to end his band still plays. It's called Snack Band. Oh, so nice. So I am a baby boomer. My parents were not I forget what they were. Not the greatest generation. I think they were I can't remember. So so my parents were born in the 1920s. So both my parents have passed away. And I listened to a lot of like big band music growing up. My dad was really obviously into that, or listening to radio TV shows. So like when podcasts first came out, all the boomers were like, podcasts, isn't that just like listening to a radio? Which is what it is. And now you can watch the podcast, which is interesting. But if you younger people, you should listen to some old-timey radio plays. Just it's good. It's good. Listen to it. It's interesting. So anyway, so I'm gonna roll this. I have to rip this out, Ribbit, but I'm gonna roll this up because I already did part of it, and I don't want this to get all knotted up. So this is what's left in the thing. This is called, this is Pagoda. Oh, I'm using the wrong, oh, it's fine. This is from Yarn Inspirations, and it is called Tealberry, and they have a lot of this variegated yarn, and it looks really thin, but this does call for a size 5 hook. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, I read this wrong. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me. 6 million, it's a 6 millimeter hook if you're crocheting, or 5 millimeter if you're knitting. Usually they're the same, so. I know, it makes something so beautiful. Look at this. But like I said, it wasn't going to come out right. And this is from a couple years ago. Actually, not a couple, 4 years ago. Beautiful that is. And the thing that's good with this kind of yarn, if you're a beginner, this is a good yarn to work with because you can pick a really easy stitch. This is just a double crochet on one row. And then the next row is a double crochet chain and skip one. So you have like a little mesh here. And just gives it, even if you just did a solid double crochet going across, it just gives it such an interesting look. And I have a sweater that's in, not this color, but in this palette, and I always get a lot of compliments on it. So I'm going to actually just roll up this last little bit, and then I'm going to have just this. And because this is an acrylic yarn, you don't really have to worry about the dye lot. And I know people in other countries must use a lot of wool, and that might have dye lots, or if you're using a more expensive yarn, or if you get like locally sourced wool, it's really important to go with the dye lot, because if it was hand dyed, so we don't really have that problem anymore. And interesting, here's a little history lesson. A lot of the factories that were producing yarn in the United States were being outsourced to other countries like Canada. And our government said that our military, who does wear knitted items, they should be purchased from the United States, made in the United States. So now there was a new revival, so to speak, of wool being created here in the United States, which is right, I would think, as the military is our number one employer. Or the government, I'm sorry, the government in all its various branches is the number one employer. But anyway, I forgot you don't have to worry so much with the dye lot. And yeah, so anyway, yeah, please like and subscribe. I also do a video game. It's on my phone game called Seeker's Notes. And I just live stream that because I figure I'm on there, I might as well live stream it. I'm trying to get my 3,000 hours, not views, 3,000 hours. I think I have like 52, but I don't know for sure because the analytics for YouTube take sometimes 5 or 6 days. So I know I love this yarn. It's gorgeous. It's really soft too. And this yarn is really nice because it is machine wash and dry. And actually, and with an acrylic, you want to put it in the dryer. It tightens up the fibers. Like this, I made from just scrap yarn. This blanket took the longest out of any blanket I've made. And I only have 2 of my blankets because I usually make blankets as gifts. I'll give them to something in my tooth. Anyway, this took so long, and it took so long for the weaving in the ends. But the point is that this, goes to the washer and dryer. These are both acrylics, and it just tightens up the fiber. So it's not, if you make it as a gift and give it to somebody, I don't know. I don't want to get something that I have to hand wash and put on the line if it's a blanket. I mean, can be quite big. So, you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean. Anyway, so, and one of the other reasons why I have, good evening, hi again. I have had a different career path other than teaching. So, so from 2000 until about 2007 or 2008, about a year after my husband passed away, I was in real estate here in Phoenix. And when the market shifted, for those of you who are too young, 2007 was not good. And for the rest of us, we should have bought a house in 1996, 1997. Anyway, so when the housing market kind of crapped out, I didn't mean to say crap. I went from selling houses. Well, actually, I was a property manager. So at first I was in real estate, to answer your question. First, I was a salesperson, and then I was doing property management for single-family homes, which is my specialty. So I'm really very well versed still in the Arizona landlord-tenant law for here in Phoenix, or for the entire state of Arizona. Then when the market shifted, I went from managing the properties to cleaning the properties. And then after my husband died, I had to make a decision to what I wanted to do because our kids were young. Our oldest was 18. She just graduated. So he got to see one graduate high school. She moved out. And then the other ones were 11 and 13. And not to get too sad here, but 11 and 13 is an incredibly difficult time for a child to lose a parent. And the loss of the parent can be from death, incarceration, deportation, or apathy. And it was very, very difficult. And there was I had a lot of problems with drugs. So I think after, God, I hope none of them are listening. Girls, if you're listening, I'm sorry I'm talking about you. But they had some, well, I won't go into too much detail, but it was quite challenging. And I think when the fourth one of their friends died from a drug overdose is when I really had to make a decision that to just really, really be poor and live off Social Security, because there was no life insurance. Yeah. There was no life insurance. There was nothing. All of that went for before. His chemo for a year was $800 a month, and that was with insurance. It was very stressful. It was a disaster, medically, financially, everything. Anyway, so when I had to decide, did I want my kids to die from an accidental overdose? I don't know. I mean, so I quit the job that I had, which was doing property management, and then I pretty much we lived off Social Security. I had a little house cleaning business for a while. Then we moved back to Ohio, where we're from, and I babysat my great nephew for a year as my niece went to nursing school for free because she had an unexpected pregnancy, genuinely. And I was helping take care of my mother, who was very old, and I had a love-hate relationship with my mom. So I'm going to say nice things and then something mean. And she was a princess in her head. She was very narcissistic, and she refused to exercise to the point she put herself into a wheelchair. So she needed a lot of help, and that's what I did. And then she passed away, and then we moved back out here, and that's when I went into teaching. So it's just been very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I wish if I had more stamina, I would be doing property management and I'd be making a lot more money. But I physically, I can't do it. And it is really, really hard. Um, if anyone else out there has like an invisible illness, like people look at me and like, oh, you look great, you look fine. It's like, yeah, well, I feel like death right now. But it's really hard to adjust to having losing things that you're able to do. So to go backwards in time a little bit, when I was about 40, and my husband because once he had his surgery for his brain cancer, he did not work ever again. And he had seizure disorder. I think that's why I started talking about my husband, because someone said they had epilepsy. He had regular seizures, were the staring kind, and then he also had psychological seizures because he had extreme panic, anxiety to panic, and then panic to seizure, and it was a lot. But I developed fibromyalgia, and that was the hardest thing, because I used to be a bodybuilder, and I did compete one time, and I was in tip-top shape up until about 40. And I remember okay, and I don't know if anyone else is into, like, if you're into CrossFit or something that's extreme, that is like you build muscle and then you maintain it. It's not normal to get sore from doing like a maintenance routine. And I was getting really sore, and I complained to the doctor. And then, of course, doctors, if there's any doctors watching, I would be surprised. But most of the time, they're just like, well, you're getting older and you're a woman. And But that was the beginning of the fibromyalgia, and that caused me to stop being able to be a bodybuilder, which was very depressing. And yeah, and then now and then the chronic fatigue worked its way in there. So I can really only exercise for like 20 minutes twice a day, which is why I ride a bicycle to school. And my bicycle has a pedal assist motor on it. So if you don't turn the motor on, it's a very heavy 6-speed bike. And if you do turn the motor on, then you don't use the gears. You can set the motor for like a lot of help, which is what I do. Or a little bit of help. And it's really nice because the laws changed right around COVID. I think they changed so that you could ride these on the street, because Phoenix is pretty cool. We have a lot of bike paths. And I know I got hit by a car, but that person was texting while driving. So while they were turning, they were making a left-hand turn right in front of me, and they hit me. And it's been 2 years. I'm still trying to get the video of it. The insurance company got it, but I haven't been able to get a personal copy. I'll put it up. You can watch me get hit by a car. Anyway. So yeah, I forgot what I think I was just complaining about my general health. So it's just hard, as you get older, especially, you have to adjust to not being able to do things. And it is very stressful. It can be very stressful. So for me, it's always something. I'm losing something else. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that you're saying that. Please like and subscribe before you go. Put the notification on. I try and come out at the same time, but it just depends on how I feel. So it was a bad day. It was a really bad day. But this is cheering me up, so thank you. I appreciate it. So thank you so much. That's the other reason why I'm doing this, is because it's nice to talk to somebody, and it's not as stressful for me because I cannot see you. I have to look at myself, which I don't like doing. And it's helping me organize. So my apartment is looking better because I want to be able to show people things in my apartment if I'm live streaming. I'm not doing it now because it's nighttime. Well, the lights are off because I'm in good lighting right now. During the daytime, I stumble into bad lighting. So let's see, 41 minutes. Oh, thank you. He said he did subscribe. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, oh God, my eye. So I want to add something on here. Like, it's called Well, there's Buy Me a Cup of Coffee, and that's where people can say, hey, I liked your thing, here's $1, or I'll buy you a cup of coffee for $1 or something. But I also want to sell some of the things that I make. Don't really have any samples right now in front of me because I cleaned up everything. I have like one big, I just started this week. I have a big container, it's too far away from me, and like a storage container, and I take everything I worked on during the week and I put in the container, and then I'm supposed to sort it out. And I haven't done that yet. So this is like the only little sample that I have, and this is a little cuff. It's just like it's what you would put at the bottom of a sleeve. And it's super easy. Like if you're new to crocheting, it's like so easy to do. It's like a really good beginner project. And then what you can do is put your, whatever you're working with. So this is a tapestry hook. And then you can put your crochet hook. There's always a crochet hook out though. Okay. And this is a little bit, this hook's a little bit too big for this. I don't usually work with these. I gotta start working with these big hooks because the little ones are hurting me. You can go this way so it's not sticking out. I used to use one of these when I would take the public bus. That was the other reason why I bought a bike, was because with COVID, well, I didn't have a car because I didn't have any money for a car. So when my car finally died after 17 years, I had the same car. I paid a lot of money for that car. I had a really horrible interest rate because I had poor credit. And I was going to drive that car, and so it died, and that's what it did. And I sold it basically, it was scrapped just for the catalytic converter because it was so old. But I didn't want to take the bus during COVID to school, so that's why I bought the bike. So anyway, all right. Okay, so if you want me to talk about something, you can put something in the comments. I can talk about anything. I know all kinds of weird trivia. And this is the other thing too. When you get older, sometimes, at least this is with me, I don't know if I really know something or if I read it in a book or saw it in a movie. Like, did that actually happen to me? Sometimes I have to think about it. So yeah, so sometimes my facts are not completely accurate, but I know a lot of stuff. So if you ever want to start up a conversation, put in the comment. I am here for you. I like to think that the live stream is for the viewer, which is what it's supposed to be. And it's like we're acquaintances now. Okay, we're not quite friends, but it's not all about me trying to realize my dream of never leaving my house again. I just like to be alone. But it's for you too. I want something of value to come from this. So if you want to hear a random person's opinion on something, you could definitely ask me that. And yeah, because some people did ask me some questions. So, and yeah, I'm trying to undo a knot here. So actually, I'm probably going to just save this for tomorrow. God, it's so beautiful. I would make a blanket from this, but I am not allowed to buy any yarn until I am monetized. And that rule is from me because I have so much yarn. I have so much. Oh, all right. My closet doors are closed. I have 8 large containers filled with all my crochet stuff, some sewing, some beads, and that's it. But I have like 8 containers. I don't have as much yarn, but I have quite a bit of yarn, and it's just so tempting to go buy yarn. They send me things and tell me it's on sale. Can't do it. So I'll just work with what I have. So I'm gonna finish working on this ball, and actually I might just snip it because if you do crochet, if you do ball things up, if it gets too much bigger, it's gonna fall apart anyway as you're working with it. So I'm just gonna finish this up, and yeah. So what I would like to make some videos that are edited better. My non-live stream videos, I don't know how to edit at all. I mean, I can edit a little bit. It's very frustrating. And I found a free program, and my computer that I have is too old. Just ever so slightly too old. Just a little bit. It's a MacBook Pro. It's a MacBook Air. A little bit too slow. I don't want to pay for anything. I used to have a school computer because I was a contract employee, so I had a good school computer, but now my contract is up. So I had to turn in my equipment. And we were allowed to use our work computers for personal business like that, but now I can't. So I have to figure out a program. So if anyone has any tips, is what I'm trying to say. If anyone knows of not a high-tech, free editing software where I could take one clip from one thing and take a clip from someone else and put them together. Hey, Jennifer, you're back. How you doing, man? I am here. I'm just making another ball of yarn. So, yeah, so if anyone knows how to do that, that would be cool. Okay. So I am going to get ready to go, but I have so many people. I have 6 people. I'm so excited. So somebody asked me a question. Oh, you're good. Okay, good. Because I was doing a lot of talking about myself. I don't know what else I can talk about. Talk about my daughter. What? My cats are stretching here. My kitty cats. That's Diamond. Sometimes she helps me with the crocheting. Usually she just steals the yarn. Runs away. Attacks my foot. Attacks me. So, what was I was gonna say something and I completely forgot. I ran out of steam. So, well, here's the story. I'll tell you the story about me getting hit by a car. All right, so I'm riding my bike, and it's a pedal assist electric bike. I wear a helmet, thank God, and this is the. It's hard to see because my light's kind of bright, but I have a scar here. And this is from my head hitting the windshield. So I didn't get run over. I just got hit, and the lady. It happened really fast. I was not speeding, which is possible on this bike because it can go about 30. You got to really pedal though. So I'm writing my mystery offer. I wonder what that is. So I'm riding my bike, and then I see her, and she's making a left-hand turn, and I say her because I can see the top of someone's head, and I'm braking and slowing down because I thought she was going to turn because there was enough, you know what I mean? I thought she was going to stop, and then it was so close, and I was like, oh man, I guess this is going to happen, and I hit my shoulder on her hood, and that's when it broke, and then I hit her windshield. I do not remember doing that, and my helmet ripped my skin, my forehead. Then I slid off. She stopped immediately too, which was cool, which was good. She stopped. I slid off, landed on my elbow, broke my elbow, and then I landed on my hip. And thankfully, I have a little extra padding, so that helped out. So I didn't break my hip. And I was laying there, and then I hear her saying, "Oh my God, what did I hit?" And then I heard someone yelling, because of course it's Phoenix, and this was right in front of a Costco gas station. Someone saying, "Move your car, get out of the way." And I thought, oh God, I'm going to get run over by a car trying to swerve around us. So I sat up, and then I couldn't walk. And that lady lied. So the bike was fine. It's a really good bike. It was $1,700, good bike. I still have her. It's the second bike because I got robbed once about a year before. When I was home, they broke in and they stole my bike and they left. And I was home, and the cats, this cat right here didn't do nothing. Yeah, you didn't do nothing. There was someone in the apartment. She didn't meow. She didn't do anything. That's the way it goes. That's a whole nother story. Anyway, so the bike was fine. So I had someone take my bike out of the street before I went in the ambulance, and I will not say what hospital I went to or emergency room. Did not get good treatment. They did check everything, but they did not check my legs. And I was very lucky that I didn't break my back or my spine. But the emergency room was very, very busy, and I had to lay in a cervical collar for 8 hours. And I know that sounds like an American problem, but it was not comfortable. And then my head is bleeding because they didn't stitch it until I was out of the cervical collar. And my kids were there because they made me call my kids. I'm like, oh my God, don't call the kids. Just everything's fine. It's all fine. It's all fine. Because then they're just going to want to sit up there for the whole day. And when you're in the, I can't remember what it was called, but okay, if you don't know this, let me tell you. Cervical collar is a thing that they put on your neck to make sure that your neck is not broken. Because there have been cases, and there was one case here in Phoenix where some kid was decapitated. The skin was still there, and his head was just there. He was still alive somehow. Oh, God. Anyway, in the order for accidents, like first you go and you get your imaging done, and then orthopedics or surgical, the surgical doctors have to check you first. And until surgical clears you, no one else can do anything. And they were very, very busy. So I'm not complaining about that part. So I just had to wait a long time, but it was just really, just laying there, got the cervical collar, I'm just bleeding. I didn't know that my hip was severely sprained because I wasn't moving. And plus I was on pain medication, thankfully. Okay. So, back at the scene, I didn't even think to take pictures or anything. Well, I couldn't even stand up. So the nice fireman moved my bike. And then that is why when the police came and took the report, my bike was up on the sidewalk, which I don't know if people know this, but at least in Phoenix, and it could go by your jurisdiction or by your city or your state. In the city of Phoenix, the pedestrian has the right of way on the sidewalk. So I don't ride my bike on the sidewalk because when you can't go fast enough, it's too many dips and whatever, just ride in the street, usually in the bike lane or off to the side. And this was a 25 per mile street. So it's not like I'm on a major street, which I wouldn't ride on anyway in the street. Anyway, so I was gone. My first thought was to call the school and tell them you need a sub for the sub. And then I missed the last 3 weeks of school. So that was that. But look how pretty the obsessed right now. Gorgeous that is. And the lady lied and said that I hit her. I was on the sidewalk speeding and I hit her. But thank God, the Quick Trip had a video of it. And they saw that she was completely at fault. So that was cool. So thank God she stopped and she had insurance. So that's good. That's why you should always have insurance, because that would have been devastating to not have insurance. And the only damage she had to her car was where I starred her windshield. So, yeah, so that was me getting hit by a car, and I couldn't, and you know, when you have a broken arm, you don't always go in a cast. You're only in a cast if it has to be mobilized. Like if you break your wrist has to be in a cast in a certain way or it affects your whole arm. So I wasn't even in a cast. In fact, I didn't even know my elbow was broken until 2 weeks later, because I was doing my exercises for my shoulder, which involved me doing something, and it was messing up my elbow. It was not good. It's not good. But I am thankful that I can ride my bike again, which was kind of scary to get back up on the bike. But I love my bike. My bike is the only thing that makes me feel like I am in reasonable good shape. So, even though I'm not. And it's so hot here in Phoenix that it's like hot as soon as the sun comes up. I'm not riding my bike in this heat because it's too hot. It's too much. And then I just moved, and I live in a weird part of Phoenix where it's so weird. I live in northwest Phoenix. Not very west, like really, you know, downtown. But the street I live in is like living in the country. There's a little farm next behind us in this apartment complex, and I'm pointing so you can't see. And they have sheep, chickens, and dogs, and cats, and a whole bunch of junk. It's like a nightmare over there. It's all hoarded up. But they have a lot of animals, and then people across the street have a horse. It's just it looks very rural. And then you walk a quarter of a mile, and you're right at the freeway, and you're right at the 51, and it's just definitely downtown. And it's not conducive to just riding your bike around at 11 o'clock at night when it's only 90 degrees out, because we'll just say the nightlife can be a little bit dangerous, because I like to think it's fireworks going off, but it is not. So anyway, so I digress. So, all right, I'm having a good time tonight. This is good. 58 minutes. Wow, that's a long time. I say that, but I'm usually on for this long. So I am probably going to go, but there's a lot of people here still, so I don't want to leave if people want to still hang out. So I'm going to drink some water. Okay, I'm back. Okay. So I could tell you about my getting robbed. It's a whole long story. So I'm not going to tell you that story tonight, but I did get robbed. I was home. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And my bike was right in the living room. And it was a typical small apartment in Phoenix. And they jimmied the door open. Jimmied it open. They opened the door. They looked around. They could see that there was no TV. What? There was no game system. What? There was the bike. They took my bike, but the person who stole it did not notice that the battery wasn't on it. The battery cost $600. So they stole an electric bike with no battery and no charger. So ha to you. So thank God for renter's insurance. So I just bought the exact same bike, and I have an extra battery. Plus I'm 5 feet tall, and I bought pretty much the only electric bike available for someone like me to buy, because I am too old to do the kick over the saddle or the bar. I said saddle instead of seat. So I just do a step through, and it folds, and you can put it in your car, but it weighs 50 pounds, so it's pretty heavy. All right, loves, I'm going to go. Thank you, all of you, for being here. I really, really appreciate being here. I appreciate you helping me with my persistent depression, with my ADHD, and getting my projects done, and making me be a little bit more, I don't know, productive in the summer. Usually in the summertime, I'm just so destroyed from working the whole year. I usually sleep half the summer, and then I'm usually depressed in the summer. So, but this year I'm not depressed. I love my apartment that I moved into. It's so nice. I would show it to you, but I don't want to get up and turn the lights on. And yeah. So, all right. Remember, each and every one of you is important. You matter. You are valuable. There was a girl on here earlier who said she was in the emergency room. There was some boy in a coma, and when she got there, she was singing. She sang a song or something or whatever. She was there, and he woke up out of the coma. Was it a miracle? I don't know. But she wouldn't have been there. Each of you is important. You are valuable. I love you as a person to a person. You all matter. So if anyone is sad out there, because I'm sad all the time, but I know after living with this my whole life that that's just the way I am. And you just, I just kind of like deal with it. Like when I first wake up in the morning, it's always just the worst. It's the worst. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to leave the house. Well, I never want to leave the house, but it's just the worst. I get up, I go to work, and then I kind of smooth out of it. But I know every single morning when I go to sleep all happy and motivated, I wake up, it's like the worst. The morning is just the worst. It's always like that. Sometimes I'm just sad for no reason. Sometimes I have a lot of anxiety for no reason. I might look at something and just get freaked out. Yeah, just kind of figure out what's your trigger and try not to do that. For me, now we started off in a different tangent. My trigger was not having enough money. And that's a trigger. That's true for a lot of people. It was very, very difficult when my husband was going through his cancer treatment. And I was working. He wasn't working. It was really, really difficult. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, and he was horribly depressed too. How could you not be depressed? Brain cancer. For those of you who don't know exactly what cancer is when your cells reproduce incorrectly and at too fast of a rate. It's too much, and that's why people lose weight when they get cancer. But he didn't have that kind of cancer because it was in his brain. Cancer uses a lot more energy, so it uses a lot more calories, and that's why if you have a noticeable weight loss and you haven't done anything different, that could be a sign of cancer. And your body produces cancer cells all the time, and if you have a decent immune system, it'll fight it, but sometimes that does not work out. So the kind of cancer he had in the brain was not, did not get the kind of chemo where you have the infusion where they give it to you in an arm. It was a pill. He did 5 pills, $800. It was either $800 or $1,000. I'm so proud of myself for forgetting this. Anyway, it was very, very stressful to have to live the majority of because I was middle class. We were middle class, and then we went right down to lower working class. And if you're on any kind of assistance from the government, be happy it's there. We've only had government assistance probably for about 100 years. Before that, people just starved to death. So we had access insurance. We never had cash or housing. But very, very stressful. So I'm happy now that I am able to pay my bills. Because I did get some settlement from the accident. Most of it went to pay the medical bills. And just that little bit helped. I know it's very, very stressful. And if you do have any kind of depression or anxiety, that kind of unknown is very stressful on your day-to-day life. So I know that since I have enough money. I don't have a lot of money, but I have enough money, and because I'm too exhausted and I can't do anything, I don't spend any money. And then my kids, thankfully, I have 3 successful children. And I mean, when I say successful, I mean they all work. They like what they do, which is really important. No one has any vices, so I don't have any gambler. If you're a gambler, I'm not saying, there's nobody's getting arrested. Everyone works. Everyone is decent. We all get along. And it's very relieving to know that my kids don't need me financially. They don't need me to do anything for them, but they want me in their life. And when I am thinking, my kids are trying to buy a house, and I'm like, I should help them. I was in real estate and stuff. I'm like, they're lawyers. They know what they're doing. And it's just so nice to know that they're smart. They can handle things. And that has been a great stress release. That's been going on for a while. Well, the youngest one's only 28. So it's been going on for about 5 or 6 years. And so it's good. Things are good. So, all right. Anyway, that was a long salutation. Did I say that right? All right. I like and love and appreciate each and every one of you for being here, but I'm going to go. I'll be here tomorrow, but probably around 6:30, and I'll be doing live streams every day until August 5th or 4th, because then I have to go back to work on the 7th. And yeah, it's going to take me 2 or 3 days to get ready to go to work. I thought it was going to go down to 2 days a week, but I found out that's a whole other story that I can't do that until January. So I have to go back to school for 5 days a week. I love teaching. I would prefer to teach things that kids want to learn, which is not all the subjects at school. What are you going to do? But so it's not the kids. Kids are always the absolute best part of teaching the kids. Kids are always the best part. Even, I'm not talking about middle school or high school. I'm talking strictly about elementary. Middle school is always a challenge. High school kids barely can even admit that you even exist as a teacher. It's like, who's that? So don't think I'm complaining because I have to interact with the children because they're the best part. So anyway, I will probably, I have to get up and get an ice pack and I'm going to lay down and I'm going to be playing Seeker's Notes in about 10 minutes on this channel if you want to watch. And I usually don't talk at all because for some reason I never see the messages even though I open it up. I don't know. All right. Like, subscribe. Help make my dream of never leaving my house come true again. Come true. And all right, I'm gonna leave. Thank you. Goodbye.